And you became an ADA.
I became an ADA.
That's assistant district attorney for those of y'all who don't know.
Yes.
And so exactly what does an ADA do?
So great question. So an assistant district attorney, they prosecute offenders. Mm-hmm. So cases, they come in, they are referred by the police agencies, and then they go to the grand jury. I'm talking on a felony level at this point. They go to the grand jury, and the grand jury either true bills the case or they no bill the case. If it's true bill, then it gets assigned to a court. And so what the DA's responsibility is at that point is they have a file. It's probably all electronic now, and they have like a probable cause and an offense report and DA, all the evidence that police officer or that detective has gathered. They are supposed to turn it over to that assistant district attorney. Mm-hmm. And that attorney, they read through it, they look through it, they call witnesses, they call victims, they call police officers, they have interviews, and they are to make a decision as to what the right thing is to do in that particular case. Sometimes it might be to dismiss the case, right? Because there's just not enough evidence, or something later on comes out that suggests that, this probably isn't the kind of case that we want to prosecute. And perhaps it's probation or deferred adjudication. Sometimes it's prison time, and sometimes it's just going to trial because the DA may offer X amount of years and the defendant says, hey, I'm not taking that, I want a trial. And so then they prepare for trial. And preparing for trial, just taking like the most serious case, one of the most serious cases that there is like a murder case. And so they have to call in family members, and they have to interview family members, and they have to speak to experts, DNA experts, forensic, for experts. So they have a lot on their plate, and it's not an easy job, but it is a rewarding job because you are in a position to really help someone who has been a victim of specifically some sort of assaultive or, type of case.
Wow. And we see this on TV, and it looks like so amazing on TV, and people think, and this is the misconception, that lawyers get to just walk into a courtroom and just start talking, and that's just how we do it, and it's just so easy. Yeah. And so thank you for sharing that, because there is a lot of paper that goes with it.
Absolutely.
And there's a lot of, I guess, like the discovery process that goes through it between attorneys, where they are supposed to exchange that. Right. That evidence. And sometimes it doesn't get exchanged, and, there's just a lot that goes on with that. This is a misconception. I'm not sure if it's true, so I'm asking because I just don't know. Is there like a number, a quota, like something like that within the DA's office that you have to have as a track record?
That's a great question. I was under Craig Watkins. That's who I was hired under.
May he rest in peace.
May he rest in peace. My goodness. What a great man. Mm-hmm. What a great man. He opened the doors for so many African-American individuals straight out of law school. So I'm really grateful for him.
You know what? And that's interesting that you said that, because not just African American, we're talking African American women. Absolutely. And I think that number for African Americans is like at 5%. And if I would go on the ABA, the American Bar Association website, I think it's 5% now, 5% African American, 5% Hispanic, and 5% all others. And it's even less when it comes to women. Yeah. So, kudos to that. Yeah. So back to you.
So when I was an assistant district attorney, I was never told that I had to have some sort of quota. So for me, I took the cases that were before me, and if they needed to be tried, meaning that there could not be some sort of resolution, some sort of agreement between myself as a prosecutor and the defense attorney, then it needs to be tried. But I was never given, say, hey, in order for you to move up the ranks, you need to have so many trials under your belt.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's fair enough. I just wanted to, kind of expel that myth. Yeah. If it's since it's out there. with the how was it like trying your, like, what was that experience like trying your first case? So do you go to school? Is there some kind of school they put you through? Or?
Sure. So they do have a baby prosecutor school. As soon as you get there, as soon as you're hired on with the DA's office, you do go to a baby prosecutor school. But honestly, you learn a lot from observing trials of other prosecutors, other defense attorneys, and you just get in there and you do it. And it's all honestly about preparation. You have to really prepare your opening argument. You have to prepare the way, your witness list, the way you want to present your evidence to a jury. It's not theater, but honestly, you are presenting evidence to a jury and you are hoping that the jury comes up with whatever correct verdict that they want to come up with. But as an ADA, you are trying to convince the jury to find this individual guilty, and here's the evidence. This is why.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I spent some time in the criminal courts, but I mean, it was a little too many miles on these shoes for me. So I was like, I be coming in the door with my little stuff. They be like, oh, you got like $10,000 on. I'd be like, oh, girl. But I would go down to Frank Crowley and be down there, and I tried. But I found out that it just really wasn't my stick. So I, went to the civil side. Yeah. Where I remain to this day. But I tell you what, how long did you spend at the DA's office?
I was there a little under 10 years.
Wow, yes. You stayed a long time.
I did.
So is it scary being a DA?
When you're a DA, it's not, for me, it's not scary. If I was scared, I wouldn't do it. Are you saying scary in the sense that you're dealing with?
Yeah, like criminals in the community, and like, I don't know. It's just, to me, I always thought, gosh, I would, like, are you like looking over your shoulder, you know? And because I don't know, I think they deserve a lot more protection, judges. Absolutely. And DAs. Like, I just like, you just walk around free after, dealing with that, and you don't know who.
Yeah, no bodyguard, security, or anything like that.
That's outrageous to me.
Yeah, so you could just finish up a murder trial, and, as a prosecutor, and an individual could have just been sentenced to X amount of time in prison, and you have no security.
That's scary.
When you think about it, and when you say it out loud.
I'm sorry for saying it, but
scary.
In me, I mean, a sister stays strapped. I mean, I am in Texas, okay?
In Texas.
Listen, and and I love my guns. I got some amazing guns, okay? Amazing ones, okay?
Yes.
Don't talk about that P210, okay? I got a lot. That's my favorite one. But I do. I love it. Your dad being in the military, he would know what gun I'm talking about.
Yes, he would know. He would know. For sure.
But that scares me about it. And then you had the nerve to turn around after leaving the DA's office and decide, how did you make the decision to go to the judiciary side of things?
I made the decision to run for judge. I left the DA's office and I started my private practice in criminal defense.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I was a criminal defense lawyer for a little under 5 years.
The bad side to the good side, or the good side to the bad side.
Hey, whichever way you want to look at it.
I'm just kidding. How people do that.
Right.
Like, oh, you went to the good side, or you went to the bad side.
Yeah, the criminal defense, they say that's the bad side. But hey, I think it's all good because you're fighting for whatever side you are advocating for at that time.
Because it's justice.
That's what justice looks like.
Equal
from my
justice under the law.
Anyway.
Yeah.
And so, as a criminal defense attorney, I loved it. I not only enjoyed the freedom of being able to, move around in the way I wanted to, but you gain a different perspective as a criminal defense attorney. Because prosecutors, you're only dealing with like police officers and witnesses and things that could help your case. But on the flip side, and there is a flip side, you get to learn it. You get to learn who this individual is charged with this offense. You get to learn how they grew up. You get to understand what their challenges are or were. You get to meet and have sit downs with their family members and figure out how did we get to this point. complaint, right? And then you also, get to fight for those clients where this is just not, this individual isn't actually guilty of this offense, or the evidence is lacking. Let me say it that way, because you never really know.
Right.
You never really know.
Wow.
Because in order to know, we would have to actually have been there when it happened.
Exactly.
But looking at the evidence, you can comb through it and you can say, hey, that this is missing or this is missing, or, so
it's more likely than not.
More likely than not, or there is a reasonable doubt that, this individual committed this offense. And again, here's why.